Hey guys, Eagle Trading checking in, 9:36 p.m. March 31st, 2020. Futures are selling off a little bit, nothing crazy. We're probably going to go retest the levels. I mean, nothing's out of the ordinary here that we've seen here. Everything's acting exactly like we expected it would in the market. Here's our channel lines that we drew. Here's the bounce exactly where we said it was going to happen. Let's change that candle style and you can see a little bit more accurately on the bars. This is the channel line that we drew. We kind of figured we would bounce back up on the Fibonacci. Retested 264. We don't have the Fib chart up now, but we got to 263. What did we get to on SPY today? 263.54. So we started getting close to that 264 Fibonacci retrace and started to get some energy to the downside. Can't break above the 20. Overall market's weak. Microsoft, Amazon, those stocks all blew through their 20s and then tagged their 50s and rolled back over. So market's trying to get some separation here. The trash is dropping. The cash is, the stuff that's good is popping. So I think this is going to be an orderly sell-off for now. It's pretty much acting exactly like we expected it to. We thought we'd go up here and retest it. In fact, as we started to get close today to the 264, we were buying TZA. We like to pick on the weakest index, which is the IWM. And if you look at the 3-day on the minute chart, we started to bull flag. This is today here actually. There's a 9:30 open. After hours, TZA put some up at 64.20. I didn't get a bite. Market closed right at the high on TZA. And after hours, 64 like 07. I was like, if somebody wants it, they can get it. 64.20, but nobody took it. I didn't even look at it. I just said whatever happens, happens. So if we look at a comparison, we can see how the E-mini or the TZA started to move before the market. You could see it happening in the, let's do a quick study here and do a comparison. You can see SPY as it started getting close to 264. The IWM was starting to roll over, and that's your TZA is a 3 times leverage inverse of the IWM. So let's look at the SP 500. You can see we doubled, tripled top here. Meanwhile, you couldn't even make a lower low here or an even low. So IWM was already starting to weaken. And we were watching this action in here as we got close, scaling into some TZA. In fact, we were on a live show buying some. I'll have to find the link. It was through my son's Brawl Street, but it was on some other platform that we were on. I can't remember the name of it. So you can see the bull flag here popped out of there. This is a longer term trend line from before, so we regained that line. Let's remove this, and you can see we retested it. And let's remove that. We broke through the longer line. We retested the line on the spot. Boom, we broke up through the top line. Failed there, came back down, but enough energy where they didn't even want to let it get close, and they started buying it again. And then we break through that wedge, pop, sold off a little bit into the close, but then after hours we're off the screen here. I still think this is going to be a contained pullback. I mean, just looking at the IWM, I'm not sure I want to be holding this too long short. I mean, talk about an index that's been torn and tattered. It's going to be interesting to see whether the overall market, the Dow and the S&P, want to kind of go down and visit the wedge from 2016, or will IWM just going to sit here and gravitate regardless of whatever the sell-off happens, or we rally from here. I mean, I'm not opposed to saying the market can't get a little bit of a head fake here and we blow through the 264 and go up to the 270 area before we roll over and head back down, which I expect us to do. So interesting action here. IWM is the weak point. These are just different levels of consolidation over the years that I've looked at, and we're at the lower consolidation level. I mean, if SPY was mimicking IWM on this chart on the time frame, we'd be at like 195 on SPY, and we're well above that. So what's going to happen here? We literally came down and just lost 4 years of action in the small caps. So tomorrow should be interesting. Either the small caps are going to hold strong here, even if we pull back in the market, or the market's going to come down and meet the small caps. It's hard to say. Should be interesting. So let's look at the futures on the VIX. Nothing crazy, and then we'll close it with that. Tomorrow morning I might come up with some stocks that I'm looking to buy. Anything that I've talked about adding, I still own, and then I day trade around those particular stocks. So volatility is broken, kind of. Hopefully this will show you. these aren't accurate because they get skewed on Thinkorswim, but if we lowered that line a little bit, I'm going to remove it for now, but you get the idea. That line kind of ran up here, and then volatility broke, couldn't hold it, and then your other trend line now is starting to break. We're hitting the Fibonacci numbers, 38.2. We tagged the 61.8. You can flip this around, and this becomes the 38.2. Doesn't matter either way. You just get the lines. That's all that matters. Go back up, couldn't hold it. Go back down, test the upward trend line. Go back up, open right on it, push through a little bit intraday. Energy pulls it back down, and now starting to roll back over. And then after hours, we're at 48.45. Can't even get back up into the trend line. So volatility is still busted here. Don't think you're just going to go out and buy UVXY when the market pulls back and think you're going to be a millionaire. Probably not going to happen. In fact, this is a little bit of an indication. I know it's probably light trading that the market's probably not going to have a big down day tomorrow. And if it does, we'll see. Let's see if volatility can break up inside here. Let's see if it gets up into the 53 and 54 and can close above. It has, you know, the highest close we've had in the last, what, 6 days, 7 days is that 53.40ish area. So let's see if it can get up there. So keep these up when you're day trading and kind of figure out what the market thinks as far as the fear zone is. We got up on Microsoft above the 20, hit the 50 today, couldn't hold it, backed off. Amazon up in the trend line too, on the momentum line. We talked about that before. Couldn't hold it, backed off. Here's your Amazon trend line. Here's the momentum line. Clean breakout today, right? Too much energy to the downside. Lost it. Closed under it. Look at that. Boom. If you're a trader, you probably chased that thing out. Probably would have sold it anyway with a stop, but closed below it. So market's just having trouble here at the 264 spot. It's just not wanting to go through. Maybe it needs a few more days of consolidation. Maybe it needs to shake out some of the weak hands at this high level from the rebound. There's your little bear fake out. Anyway, let's see what tomorrow brings, and maybe we'll come up with some different stocks to buy. Don't get overly aggressive on your shorting if you're thinking the market's going to go tank here. I just think it's going to be a controlled sell-off, but we'll see how it goes.